All right, let's get into this, because I have some thoughts and honestly some frustrations about what's happening in the Knicks organization right now. We just won the whole thing. We are the champions. And yet, less than 2 months later, I'm sitting here more worried about our backup point guard situation than I probably should be right after a title. But that's the Knicks for you, right? We can't just enjoy a win for 5 minutes before there's some new roster puzzle to obsess over. So here's the deal. Summer League wrapped up in Vegas. And look, nobody expected us to dominate it. We just won a championship. The front office wasn't exactly treating Summer League like a top priority, and honestly, that's fine. But we walked away with 1 win and 4 losses. And if I'm being real with you, the record barely matters. What matters is what we saw from 2 names you need to remember. Jack Kayil and Tyler Nickel. Both second-round picks. Both guys Leon Rose brought in. And both of them look like steals. Now, before you get too excited, and trust me, I got excited too when I watched the clips. Neither of these guys actually has an NBA contract locked in for next season. Let that sink in for a second. 2 of the more intriguing young prospects we've had in years. And there's a real chance neither one suits up for us in October. That's the kind of thing that should be driving fans up the wall. And if it's not driving you up the wall yet, stick with me. Because it's about to. Here's where it gets complicated, and honestly, a little maddening. Kayil is currently under contract overseas with Mega Basket in Serbia. That deal ties the Knicks' hands. We can't offer him a 2-way deal. We can't offer him anything unguaranteed. Nothing. If we want this kid in a Knicks uniform, it has to be a real, guaranteed NBA contract. And right now, we don't exactly have a spot sitting open for that. Why does that matter so much? Because this team needs center depth. We have exactly 1 open roster spot left, and we need a 3rd big man, in the worst way. So the pieces don't fit cleanly right now, unless something changes. And this is where I start getting genuinely frustrated with how this front office has handled Tyler Kolek. Let's talk about Kolek for a second, because I think a lot of us are noticing the same pattern, and nobody in the organization is saying it out loud. Coming off a championship, you'd think there'd be more trust in the young guys who helped get us there. Instead, what have we seen? Mike Brown put Kolek in the opening night rotation, sure, but immediately started publicly hedging, telling reporters that Kolek's defense needed to be locked in every single night just for him to see the floor. That's not exactly a vote of confidence. That's a warning shot. And then what happened? 11 days. 11 days later, this kid gets sent down to the G League. Yeah, he fought his way back. Yeah, he had some big moments when he returned. But then at the trade deadline, what did the front office do? They went out and got Jose Alvarado. And let's be honest with ourselves here. That wasn't just adding depth. That was the front office looking at Kolek and saying, we don't trust you enough to lean on you in the playoffs. That stings if you've been rooting for this kid since draft night. And look, I'm not here to rip on Alvarado. The guy earned everything he got. He bailed us out not once, but twice against the Spurs in the finals. That's Knicks history right there. That a moment fans in this city are going to talk about for years. The 3-year extension he signed this offseason totally deserved great value for front office. No complaints there. But here's my issue. If the only way Tyler Kolek is going to get real, meaningful minutes next season is if somebody in front of him gets hurt, then what exactly are we doing? That's not player development. That's a guy sitting on the shelf collecting dust. And if that's genuinely the organization's read on him, then maybe, and I hate saying this, maybe it's time to explore moving him. If Kolek can be part of a package that brings back a legitimate center, someone who actually addresses our real need in the front court, doesn't that make more sense than letting him rot on the bench hoping for an injury to open the door? Now, let's flip back to Kayil, because here's the part of this whole situation that actually has me hopeful instead of annoyed. If you know anything about Mike Brown as a coach, you know he's not the type to hand a rookie the keys and expect miracles day one. He believes in learning as you go, in guys figuring things out in real minutes, in real time. Sure, it looks effortless when you watch guys like A.J. Mitchell or Dylan Harper step in and contribute immediately as rookies. But that's the exception, not the rule. Most rookie guards need runway. And Brown, to his credit, is exactly the kind of coach who gives it to them, especially during the regular season, when he's constantly trying to learn what every single guy on his roster can actually do. So follow the logic here with me. If neither Kolek nor Kayil is going to be a real rotation piece for us early in the season, as things currently stand, and if one of those two names could realistically be flipped to solve an actual roster-needed center, doesn't the answer sort of write itself? Move Kolek. Clear a path. Find a way to get Kayil out of Serbia and into a Knicks jersey. Because from what we saw in Vegas, this kid has legitimate NBA tools, and bearing that kind of talent overseas because of a roster crunch we created ourselves would be an absolute waste. This is exactly the kind of stuff that should be getting Knicks fans fired up right now. We just won a title, and instead of coasting, this front office has real decisions to make about who they trust going forward. I want to know where you stand on this. Do you keep Kolek and hope he earns Brown's trust over a full season? Or do you make the move, bring Kayil stateside, and bet on upside at the center position? Drop a comment and tell me straight up, Kolek or Kayil. Who do you actually want wearing a Knicks jersey when the season tips off? I read every single comment, so don't hold back. And if you're the kind of Knicks fan who wants to stay ahead of every single roster move this front office makes this offseason, do me a favor and smash that like button right now before you keep scrolling. It genuinely helps this channel more than you'd think, and it costs you nothing. We're going to keep tracking every angle of this center search, every twist with Kolek's future, and everything happening with our young guys trying to carve out a role on a championship roster. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update, because I promise you, this front office is not done making moves. Let me know in the comments below, are you team trade Kolek or team patience? I want to see this comment section blow up. Like the video if you're as invested in this Knicks center situation as I am, and I'll see you in the next one.